All right, so in this first video, we are going to talk about divisibility rules. Now, divisibility rules are really important because they can help you determine, even with a really large number, even with a number in the millions, what numbers go into that number, which now that I say it sounds really confusing. So let's go ahead and get started and take a look. Okay, so a little bit of vocabulary before we get started. So divisibility is dividing one number into another number with no remainder. So for example, the number 42 is divisible by 7 because 42 divided by 7 is 6. 42 is also divisible by other numbers, such as 2. 2 goes into 42 21 times. Okay, the number 1 also goes into 42 42 times. The number 6 also goes into 42 7 times, and on and on and on. So divisibility means a number going into another number with absolutely no remainder. Now, there's some rules for divisibility to help us very quickly get to the answer. So, a number is divisible by 2 if the last digit of the number is even. And so some examples would be the number 36, because the last digit is 6, and 6 is an even number. And just to remind you, the even numbers are 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. The number 148 is also divisible by 2 because it ends in an 8. And then, we can take it up to the 10,000s. 11,294 is divisible by 2 because it ends in a 4. Some examples that would not work is 17. The number 7 is odd, and it's not an even number. The number 711 would not work because the last digit is 1. 1 is not an even number. And then we can do 20,109. That would not work because 9 is an even number as well. Okay? All right, let's look at the number 3. So number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. At first this may seem a little bit confusing to someone, so let me go ahead and explain. So for our first example, I'm actually going to do 117. So the first thing you're going to do when you see a number is add up all the digits. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 7 equals 9. Is 9 divisible by 3? So does 3 go into 9 evenly? Yes, it does. And so that would be an example of a number that is divisible by 3. Now, 3 times what equals 117? Well, then you can go ahead and do a division problem or guess and check if you really want to. Some other examples would be 99. So if you add 9 plus 9, that's going to give you 18. And 3 goes into 18 6 times. So that's definitely going to work. Let's see, we can do the number 71,100. That would also be divisible by 3. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. Plus 0 plus 0 is still 9. So that would also work. Let's take a look at some non-examples. So some non-examples would be 82. The number 82 is not divisible by 3. 8 plus 2 is 10, and so that would not work. We could do the number 341. That would not work. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. 3 does not go into 8 evenly, so that would not work. Let's see, we can do the number 9,991. That would not work. 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 9 is 27. 27 plus 28, 27 plus 1 is 28. And 28 is not divisible by 3 without a remainder. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to 4. So a number is divisible by 4 if the last 2 digits are divisible by 4. So when you have a number that's only 2 digits, well then you're going to have to determine if it's divisible by 4. But this is really helpful if you have a number in the hundreds and the thousands and the 10,000s and the millions and on and on and on. Okay, so let's look at some basic examples. So 84 would work. Okay, 4 goes into 84 perfectly. But let me give you a 3-digit number. So we can do 816. In this case, you would look at the 16, and we know that 4 goes into 16 evenly. We could take a look at a number in the 100,000s. So we can do 416,740. But we would just be looking at those last 2 digits. And we know that 4 goes into 40 quite evenly as well. Okay, some non-examples. If we did 41, that would not work. 4 goes into 40, so it wouldn't go into 41. We can do the example 517. That would not work because 4 does not go into 17 evenly. And then we can also do the example 918,779. Looking at those last 2 numbers, 79, 4 does not go into 79. Now you may be thinking, how do I know if 4 goes into a larger number like 79? And that should be a fairly easy and quick division problem to do on your paper. Also, if you think about it, 4 goes into 40 10 times evenly. So if you double 40, you get 80, in which case it would go in 20 times. So you can, over time, you'll know quite quickly if 4 goes into a number. So 5 is one of those easy ones. If a number is divisible by 5, then the last digit, it's either a 0 or it's a 5. So that's pretty fair. So we could do the number 55. That would work. We can do the number 700. That would work. We can do the number 9,345. That would also work. So it just has to be a 0 or a 5. Some non-examples are going to be the number 71. That would not work. We could do the number 803. That would not work. Or we could do the number 17,472. That would not work either because those digits are not a 0 or a 5. All right, if a number is divisible by 6, that means that the number is also divisible by 2 and by 3. Now, this is a little harder, but it's also kind of a freebie because as long as you know your divisibility rules for 2 and 3, 6 should not be a problem. But remember, the key here is that it has to work with 2 and with 3. If it only works with 2, that's not going to work. If it only works with 3, that's not going to work. So let's look at some examples here. So we can do the number 222. So first off, it ends in an even number, so that's, one check. The other thing is, remember, we add up the digits, so 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, and 3 does go into 6 evenly. And so 222 is divisible by 6. Another number we can look at, let's do 804. That'll be a good one. Okay, so the last digit is an even number, so 2 would definitely work. And when I add up the digits, 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 4 is going to be 12. 3 goes into 12 evenly as well, so that would work. We can do the number 11,200, let's see, that's 206. So the last digit is even. So that would work. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. And as a matter of fact, that one will not work. So let me edit that guy a little bit there. So let's see. That's 4. Let's do this. 11,202. So 2 is an even number, so that would work. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6, and 3 goes into 6 evenly, so that would work. Some examples that'll work, a big red flag should be if it doesn't end in an even number, that's not going to work. So for example, the number 93, it does not end in an even number, and so 2 is not even possible. The number 117, this is divisible by 3, but again, it ends in an odd number, so that's not going to work. Let's see, another one. We can do 9,803. Again, not ending in an even number, and so automatically we know that is not going to work out. Okay? All right, so we're going to move on to nines now. So number is divisible by 9 if the sum of the digits is also divisible by 9. This is a lot like the 3 rule, so that also helps you remember. So 3 and 9 have the same rule, but with their own number. So let's start off with a pretty easy example here, the number 999. So 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 9 is going to be 27. So 9 goes into 27 evenly 3 times, and so this number is divisible by 9. Another number that we could look at here would be, let's see, the number 36. Actually, let me flip that around. Let's not do that easy. Okay, let's do 630. So 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 0 is 9. And so 9 goes in evenly there as well. We can do the number, let's see, 2,220, 246. There we go. So this number is also divisible by 9 because if we add up the digits, we actually get 9. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. And 9 goes into 9 one time. So some examples that would not work. 107 would not work. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 7 equals 8. And 9 does not go into 8 evenly. Let's see, the number 444 would not work. 4 plus 4 plus 4, that's going to be 12, and 9 does not go into 12 evenly. The number 1,712 would not work. 1 plus 7 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9, 9 plus 2 is 11, and 9 does not go into 11 evenly. All right, last but not least, we have a pretty easy one. So number is divisible by 10 if the last digit is 0. So the number 1,000 would work because we end in a 0. The number 700 would work because we end in a 0. And just for fun, the number 1,000,000 would work because we end in a 0. Some non-examples are going to be 704 because we end in a 4. That would not work. We can do 9,803. That's not going to work because it ends in a 0. And we can also do 1,000,001. That's not going to work because it ends in a 1 and not a 0. All right, so now we have this nice little chart here, and all we're going to do is look at these numbers on the left, and we're going to check off if they are divisible by these numbers. And again, this is just so we can get a little bit quicker with our numbers. So 2, does 2 go into 100? Yes, because that is an even number at the end. Does 3 go into 100? Well, 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 0 is still 1. So 3 will not work. Does 4 go into 100? Well, 4 divided by 0 is going to be 0. So that one actually does work. Does 5 go into 100? Yes, because it ends in a 0 or a 5. Now watch this. Does 6 go into 100? All you have to do is look at your chart. Do you have a check mark in 2 and 3? Nope. So that doesn't work. Does 9 go into 100? Well, 1 plus 0 is 1, and 9 does not go into 1 evenly, so that won't work. Does 10 go into 100? Yes, because it ends in a 0. All right, let's take a look at the number 51. Does 2 go into 51? No, because that last number is odd. Does 3 go into 51? Well, 5 plus 1 is 6, and 3 goes into 6, so yes. Does 4 go into 51? 4 does not go into 51, because if you did your division, it would not work. Does 5 go into 51? Nope, because it ends in a 1 and not a 0 or a 5. Does 6 work? Automatically go check 2 and 3. They both don't work, or sorry, one of them does not work, and so 6 won't work. Does 9 go into 51? 5 plus 1 is 6, and 9 does not go into 6 evenly. And does 10 work? No, because it does not end in a 0. So the only factor on this chart anyway would be 3. All right, let's take a look at this number 1,392. So it ends in a 2, which is even. So we know that 2 will work. And actually, let me switch colors here. All right, so we know that 2 is going to work. Now let's add up the digits and see if 3 works. So 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 9 is 13. 13 plus 2 is 15. 4 does not go into 15, or sorry, 3 does go into 15 evenly. It goes in 5 times, so that works. Does 4 go into 92? So let me show you what I'm talking about when I say division. So 4 goes into 9 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1, and we're going to bring down the 2. 4 goes into 12 evenly 3 times. 4 is 0 remainder. And so 4 does work for that number. 5 does not work because it ends in a 2. 6 does work because 2 and 3 both work. Let's see if 9 works. So it was 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 9 is 13. 13 plus 2 is 15. 9 would not work. And 10 would not work because it does not end in a 0. All right, let's do 999. So 2 does not work because it ends in a 9, which is an odd number. 3 will work because 9 plus 9 plus 9 is 27, and 3 goes into 27 evenly 9 times. 4 would not work, and I know this really quickly because 4 goes into 100, which means that the next lowest number would be 96, not 99. 5 does not work because it does not end in a 0 or a 5. 6 will not work because 2 and 3 don't work. 9 will work because when you add up the digits, you get 27, and 9 does go into 27 evenly. But 10 will not work because it does not end in a 0. All right, 13. So 2 will not go into 13 because 3 is odd. 3 will not go into 13 because 1 plus 3 is 4, and 3 can't go into 4 evenly. 4 does not go into 13. 5 will not work because it does not end in a 0 or a 5. 6 will not work because 2 and 3 don't work. 9 will not work because 1 plus 3 is 4, and 9 does not go into 4 evenly. And 10 will not work either because it does not end in a 0. So 13 is over here pretty sad by himself. All right, I want you to try these 5 numbers, and then you can check your answers. All right, if you're not done, go ahead and pause the video so you can finish. And if you are done, let's take a look at the answers. So 76 will be divisible by 2 and 4. 2 because it's an even number, and 4 because 4 does go into 76 evenly. You can set yourself up a little division problem here. 4 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. 7 minus 4 is 3, and you bring down the 6. 4 goes into 36, 8 times evenly. So that should be a 6, and this should be a 0. So that works. 111 is only divisible by 3 here. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. The 500 is divisible by 2, ends in an even number. Divisible by 4 because 4 divided by 0 is 0, so technically it has no remainder. It is divisible by 5 because it ends in a 0 or a 5, and it is divisible by 10 because it does end in a 0. 348 is divisible by 2 because it ends in an even number. 3 because when you add them up it's 15, and 3 goes into 15 evenly. 4 because 4 goes into 8 evenly. And 6 because 2 and 3 both work. 97 again is very lonely, and none of them will work for 97. All right, that is the end of this video. Your divisibility rules will be very important and save you a lot of time as we go through this unit.